I'm not in the South. I'm on the East Coast, bro. I'm in Florida. Yeah. Okay, so. Hey, buddy. Yeah, this cat's also rented also.
That'll be a shirt. Is that cat even yours? It'll be everyone's inside joke.
I should make a shirt that says, "Do you even scam, bro?" and that put the quote dash Ty Lopez. That's what I should fucking do, man.
Oh, yeah, and then spam it on all his his stuff so people can buy it. Oh my god, because they would buy that. They would think that it's his shit.
All right. So yesterday what we decided that we were going to do is I was going to start going over the documentation and of JavaScript so that while you're solving these JavaScript problems. Did you make it through the whole video, by the way?
No.
It's been 2 days. It's an hour and 40-minute video. Were you working on other things? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Now, James, that's coming on.
So, I'm literally trying to watch it and, follow along with him. Not just, have it play and be like, oh, yeah, I watched that.
Okay. So, where were we? Number methods. So, last time we... Paying attention? Do I need to put the chat down?
No, don't do that because it makes me anxious.
Makes you anxious? Because you don't know what people are saying?
Yeah.
They're saying, damn, Dylan, I didn't know you felt so passionate about Ty Lopez. Alright, so.
JavaScript is easy to learn. Who says that?
A lot of people. Anyhow.
Fuck those people.
So, what do we got? We're about an hour and 20, so we'll go for about 40 minutes or so.
Well, good for those people that they think it's fucking easy. Yeah. I hope one day I'll be like, oh, JavaScript, it's easy.
Here we are. The toString method. Do you remember what that does?
I remember the dot string, or no, it was dot slice.
So toString, what that does is it returns a number in string format.
Oh, okay.
Okay. ToExponential will take a number. You can call it dot ToExponential, and then will return that in its exponential form to the amount of places that you want as a parameter.
Yeah, I just watched this on the video actually.
All right. ToFixed will return it back to a certain variable number. So in this case, you see returns 10, returns 9.6. This is our variable, and we're calling it on our number. So it takes in a parameter and then returns it back to a fixed number of positions.
The decimal.
Yes.
Yeah, he showed that about with money and a balance.
I'm not quite sure what the difference.
I think he talks about it, but I don't remember it.
Okay, so the difference between this is one of those things that's fucking stupid in JavaScript. So there's a few things that are like duplicate functions. What 1 hour and 40-minute JavaScript video did you assign April to read? I'm interested in watching it. It was the Derek Bonas Learn JavaScript in One video.
Hi, potato chips.
So, why don't...
Sorry.
Well, Kevin, she's just supposed to be aware that these exist so she can go and solve the algorithms.
That actually makes sense, though. Take this shit and call it this method, then shit comes out. Yeah, I get that.
That's exactly what's going on. So the value of method returns a number as a number. That's all it does. There's some functions that I have never used, or methods, but
Value of and like text precision are those.
yeah. So there's number.
Wouldn't it be to the advantage to like use every method, or?
I mean, it just depends on the situation. That's all.
I wonder what situation they found that those were needed. That'd be really interesting. Who makes JavaScript?
The people who make ECMAScript. There's like an organization.
I know. I don't wanna.
You want to go talk to them?
Yeah.
Ask them what the fuck they're doing all the time.
Yeah, let's do that on this channel. We should go and interview them.
All right, so parse int takes in a string, and returns it as a number.
Yeah, you talked about this too. That's something I kind of he goes over it real fast like you do, so I have to like pause it, go back, listen again.
So sometimes you get a string, but you need to convert it into an integer to do your equations or something.
Okay. So it's kind of like dot slice for strings to turn into arrays.
No.
It turns strings into numbers.
Yes.
How is that like not the same? They both can like change something.
Well, split takes a string and turns it into an array.
Yeah, and this takes a number and turns it into a string.
No,
or takes a string and turns it into a number.
Okay. But when we
it.
parse an int, it only will take the first int, and it will drop off the other things if you use parse. If it's a float, it's going to drop it off. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Parse float will return it all. If you're trying to get a floating point number. So typically it's better to always use parse float. It doesn't really matter though at the end of the day. So there's also some number values, like if you want to get the maximum value possible in JavaScript, because there are limits, you can do so by calling number.maxValue. This is the max value in JavaScript.
Yeah, isn't it like 16 numbers or something?
It's more than that, because you see this is e to the 308th power. You have a min value. You also have negative infinity, and this not a number value. If you ever see this, chances are you probably had some bad logic in your code where you're trying to convert something that isn't a actual number. So NaN, this stands for not a number. Let's go over the math library. I think this is important. So there's the math library built into JavaScript. So if you want to get pi, you can just call math.pi.
Yeah, because pi is already programmed into JavaScript.
Yep. There's also math.round.
I learned that from the video that I'm paying attention to and not just watching it play.
Are you upset with me or something?
Does it seem like I'm upset with you, Dylan?
I don't know. So there's math.round. You'll see we're taking in the parameter 4.4. And so it's going to round it up or it's going to round it down based on what's in there. In this case, it rounds it down to 4.
Okay.
If it was 4.6, it would round it up. There's math.pow as well. What that is yep, just like that. That actually takes a number and sends it to the power. So the first number you pass in is the value, and then the second number is the power that you want to put that to. So it's 8 to the second power is 64. So 8 to the third power is probably was 60 times 8. 32 plus.
What?
Just try to figure it out. It's like 512. But
Boy, you are sick.
yeah, I should have got that.
Math doing numbers like that in his head is like so easy, and for him to be like, I mean, it just goes to show you how real sick he is. But he's still working, and he should be sleeping and resting, so that he can go full speed ahead. But that's not what's happening.
You know, for the record, most women are upset that their men don't work enough. That's what most women.
Okay, well, I am not most women, and I think we've declared the fact that I've stayed with your ass for 6+ years after all the bullshit that we've been through. Obviously. So don't sit here and tell me that work is more important, because you know what's more important than work, Dylan? Your health, because you can't do work without your fucking health. So don't sit here and try to argue with me about it.
Why you always yell at me when we're on live stream? What is that about? You're upsetting the cats and the viewers. So, there's math.square root. You can get the square root of things. So 64, square root of 64 is 8.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like a modulus. It's the actual, like...
You gotta use the math library to call that.
Oh, okay. Is there like just... Oh, so this is the math library?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Absolute. So if you want to get the absolute of something, there it's math.absolute, or .abs, excuse me.
Hmm.
Someone ban Juan in the chat. Juan needs an insta ban.
Can we get a certificate for Juan? A little parade and shit.
Alright, so math.ceil rounds whatever the number is up to the nearest integer. Regardless if it's 4.0.1, it's going to go up to 5.
Okay.
So that's ceiling. It goes to the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, math.floor does the opposite. It takes it down to the lowest value. Math.sign is the trigonometry sign.
Is it sine?
Yeah.
It looks like sin.
It's sine.
Sine.
So let's sine and cosine.
Oh, I know those.
Yeah.
I had to do those fucking things in, was it geometry? Cosine?
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry.
So there's also math.min and math.max. So if you have a bunch of numbers like this, it'll return the min value.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a bunch of numbers like this, it'll return the max value. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Math.random we've talked about a couple times, where you want to generate a random number. Math.random generates a random number between 0 and 1. So depending on what your number wants to be, if you want it to be between 0 and 10, you plus 1, 1 and 10 is now between 1 and 10, so it'll never go below there.
Sick.
Actually 1 and 11, excuse me. But
no, it'd be 1.
if you do this math.floor,
I thought it was 1 and 10. Why is it 1 and 11?
if you do math.floor, it will generate a random number to a whole integer.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
why is
excuse
it
me.
1 or
It's
11?
not. It's because it's
10 would say you're multiplying up to 10 plus 1 means that you're starting at 1 and not 0, because it automatically starts at 0.
I made a mistake. It was because the extra numbers past 10 and we had to call math.floor. I got confused for a second. But yeah, so this would be an example of how you would generate a random number between 1 and 10. So math.round will give you a random number. It's up to you to use the other math libraries and a little bit of algebra to be able to generate what you need to. But this is a common thing that you would do for something. Okay. There's other properties here. Probably never touch them. but there's a lot more going on here. It's all basically anything that's on a graphing calculator.
Yeah.
Graphing calculator is on there.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Man, that would have been so cool to do like trigonometry homework with coding.
Yeah. All right, so I don't think that we talked about everything in here. This is basically exactly what I said with the math.floor and math.random. This is a good example to see how, if you wanted to generate a number between the min and the max, you could do that as well by multiplying times the max minus the min and then adding the min value. Same thing we did before. Remember how we wanted to start at 1? That would be our min value in that case. And then if you think about what we want our max to be, we want to say max minus min. And so what that's going to do is it's going to set a range. And then we add the min so that that's the start of the range. That's all.
Hi, Jordan.
All right, so let's talk about dates. I wasn't originally going to go over this, but you'll probably run into dates sooner or later. So if you call date function like this, it's going to get you your time zone and your local date. So we're in Eastern Daylight Time. This GMT, General Mountain Time minus 400, and it is approximately...
I miss mountains.
Miss Mountains? You want me to take you camping?
Only in a mountain.
Yeah, we'll go with log cabin or something.
I miss mountains.
I promised you a trip once you got a job. Yeah?
Let's see. Neither of us have any time off right now, so I don't see that happening. We're not gonna fly to Idaho or Colorado on Friday, camp for 2 nights, and then fly back. Or are we?
Let's see.
What's TypeScript?
TypeScript is a way of writing JavaScript that is in TypeScript. So the way that works is it's a new way of writing JavaScript. So TypeScript is a cleaner and more conventional way of writing JavaScript in an object-oriented approach. And so how it works is you write it in a different format and then it compiles it into JavaScript. So you're writing in TypeScript and then it gets compiled into a JavaScript file to run for your web browser.
What does TypeScript look like?
It looks like a combination of JavaScript with new JavaScript syntax.
So instead of, what do you mean it gets compiled? Because what are you doing now?
So typically when we run our JavaScript, it just runs.
Like it's reading a page.
Yes. Now, when you're building a large application with TypeScript, what happens is it will actually run your TypeScript and then it will build that page and then it will run that page. So web development gets a lot more complex.
That's pretty interesting because doesn't that actually take more effort?
It doesn't do it on the website.
Okay, so you use TypeScript to write out JavaScript that won't load until what? You call that
the
JavaScript?
website. All right. Let me explain myself. So what happens is, locally, when you're developing, you'll basically compile a build, and what that means is, depending on what things are using, there's things like gulp and bower and things like that where you have set up dependencies. And TypeScript is kind of like that in the sense that it needs to compile into something that a browser can read first. And so you write it in a certain way in TypeScript, and then locally you compile it into JavaScript, meaning it takes what's there. It's like it takes English and it converts it to Spanish. That's essentially what it's doing. And then when we go and we launch our website, our web app, it doesn't compile it there. It just goes and reads the JavaScript file that we already compiled and we just put up there.
It seems like it would cost the application more time to load or function.
No. It's the same. It's loading the same as if you wrote it in JavaScript. It's not reading the TypeScript file. It's reading the JavaScript file. And the load...
I don't understand the use of TypeScript then.
To solve... So JavaScript's really flexible in the sense that it's just new syntax and new stuff, and it's more conventional than other... It makes JavaScript more of a conventional language than it traditionally is. Sorry, it's nothing you need to worry about right now. If you don't get it, don't sweat.
I don't get it.
It's all right. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna skip this. We're going to array methods. Actually, let's jump into arrays first. If you ever find yourself needing to work with dates, just go read up on the dates formats and date methods.
Okay.
Okay, so we know how to create an array. Yeah, let's see if this will mod you, Kevin. See if this will allow you to. Are you now a mod? I don't know. I did it in Restream. I don't know if that will work. You might be able to post if you are. Anyhow. So we know how to create an array. Is there anything in here? Don't want to do that.
Russ.
Okay, so arrays have the .length property that you already know, returns the length. There's also the sort method. What the sort method does is, if it's a number, it will sort the array. Now, let's see if we can get a good example. So pushing adds to the array. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
To the
Push,
end.
pop.
Push adds to the end of the array. Pop removes the end of the array. Okay. So do you remember what index of does?
We just talked about that, right?
Yeah. So that index of. Actually, let's wait till there's a better example. So we're gonna go into the methods.
Thanks, Juan. I'm hoping for it. Abdul has many disciples. That's you're killing me.
All right, so here we have a dot join. What this does is it takes the values that are in the array and then joins it together in a certain format. So our result, you see our result is...
It's timesing it? What's
it's
with
not
the
timesing it. That's just how we're deciding it joins together. A space, an asterisk, then a space.
Oh, okay, instead of a comma.
Yeah, we could put a happy face or something in there for all we care. Or just a space. But if you put nothing, it'll come out as a comma.
Okay.
So pop removes the last element. In this case, it would remove mango.
Mango.
Push adds the last element. So shift.
So adding kiwi.
Shift will actually remove. It's essentially pop for the front.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, so, and then unshift adds to the front.
You could do a function for your coding god shirt if God, you know, like do a for loop or something. If knows JavaScript, how would you write it? Anyway.
You're not supposed to know about the coding got shirt yet, baby.
Oh, I just posted it.
Yeah. Alright, so we talked about unshift. All you really have to know is there's ways to add to the array and there's ways to delete from the array.
Yeah.
And when the time comes you need to do some of that, you need to come back here and review that.
Okay.
Deleting elements. Now, if you need to delete an element, but you still want to leave the index space open, you can use delete and then target that. So in this case, the first element, banana, would be undefined. One index would be orange, apple, mango, etc. So splice allows us to actually pull values out or put values in. So the way that this is happening, let's go ahead and bring this up so we can visualize this, is when we splice, we're going to actually insert lemon and kiwi where apple was.
What if you wanted spaces in there?
What do you mean?
In the banana, orange, lemon, kiwi, apple, mango.
Well, in this case, we're actually changing the array. Forget about how it looks.
Well, every example I see of it, there's no spacing, so I was just wondering if that's
Well,
the thing.
by default, this is how it prints out unless you change it. So remember how we used the join function not too long ago. Remember with the time signs?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to change how it comes out, we can do it like so.
Oh, okay.
We're joining each index together in a certain fashion. So you can also splice elements out. It just, what you're doing is you target, and then if you want to splice an element out and not replace it, you say what index it is and then how many values you want to splice out. If this was 2, it would not only splice out banana, it would also splice out orange, and then fruits would only be apple and mango. Merging concatenated strings. So you can add 2 arrays together as well with concat, just like you can add 2 strings together. So see, we have this array, Cecile and Lone and Emil, Tobias, and Linus. What happens is, when we see, this is our new array here, where it's creating this third array, and it's the combination of these 2.
So you can add 2 strings together?
Well, this isn't 2 strings, this is 2
2
arrays.
arrays,
Yeah, but same thing as with the string function concat.
Oh, okay.
And you can do this for more than one array at a time. You just pass in a comma in a second parameter, a third parameter, a fourth parameter. There's also the slice, not to be confused with splice. But what that does is it actually slices out the value.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, is that the splice and slice? Come on. I'm gonna slice and dice this shit. Is there a dice? Is there a dot dice?
No dice. What it does is it will actually create a new array from the index that you're slicing out. So we're slicing from index 1 on, so this is our array. So if you ever need to cut out a value without affecting the original array, you can with slice. Now, if you don't put a second parameter in there, it will do the whole array. If you only want part of the array, you say, hey, I want orange and I want lemon. So you pass in 2 separate parameters. Slice without all the arguments, I believe, copies the entire array. Let's find out. So we run it. Yeah. So if you want to copy all the array, you can do that as well without putting in any arguments.
Oh.
So, I am a coding guy. Amen. All right. Booleans.
Booleans. You know, there's a guy who works in the IT office at my work. His name is Boolean.
His name is not Boolean.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
His nickname is Boolean because no one can say his real name. So they call him Boolean. I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. You guys named him after a value. And they're like, what? And I was like, Boolean, true or false, right? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't think it. They don't even know what Boolean means. So I'm gonna, when he comes in
Boolean.
tomorrow,
You're saying it fucking weird. It's trying
Boolean. When he comes in tomorrow, I'll be like, hey, true or false? It's gonna be great.
So, there's the Boolean function, which you can basically write a statement in it and it will return true or false. So, you say Boolean.
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 What? I'm not, look, I'm telling you what the function's called, okay? I don't care what you say. And then it returns a value if it's true or false. So in this case it's true, 10 is greater than 9. You have to use your comparison operators, equal to, greater than, less than, all that sort of stuff. Now, it's also used to detect true values or false values. Now, everything that has a quote-unquote real value is true. Numbers are true, floats are true, negative numbers are true, strings are true.
There's like a statement or like a value that you can give something that makes it true or false, right?
Yes. Now there are things that return false as well. 0 returns false, negative 0 returns false.
Why is that?
Well, 1 is true, 0 is false.
So like on off, on off.
Yeah. Undefined returns false as well, if you were to check it. Null returns false. Basically everything that doesn't have a real value. False returns false. Not a number returns false. So if you try to divide 10 by h, that returns false.
It's true. It's true.
Why don't we stop there? I'll answer this guy's question, and then we'll continue on tomorrow with one more. We'll do one more day of going over JavaScript libraries, and then I don't know what we'll do. I haven't given it too much thought. I'm hoping that you are ready to jump into the algorithms again.
I would like to.
Okay. So Igun Amirali says, "Hey guys, do you have advice to begin with the beta on Free Code Camp or the previous one?" This is my advice, man. My advice is to do them both. There's so much more content on the beta than there is on the production version, and I think it benefits you, even if people are worried, oh well, I have to do it twice. You shouldn't have that mindset. You should enjoy the fact that the second time you go through it, what the fuck are you doing?
Sorry.
You should enjoy the fact that the second time you're doing it, you can pace your skill to see how well you're doing. So I would say do the beta first, and if it doesn't carry over, which it probably won't, just go ahead and redo it on production and continue on from there. Because if it took you 5 hours to do one section, you'll probably do it in 2 if you've been working at it. And it'll definitely remind you of some things that may have slipped through the cracks as well.
Excellent answer, Coding God. Please tell us more.
I could, but it's going to be $19.99 per minute.
You heard it, folks. Straight from the mouth of Coding God himself.
That'd be a good skit. I could do like a white Miss Cleo sort of line where you call in with all your coding problems. Be like, hey, did you check the syntax? Hey, yeah. I'd probably have to practice on the accent a bit, but... Yeah, some people are definitely getting the front end cert done. It's really good. I'm taking credit for some of that. Let it be known. I'm glad that people are working hard, man. To get the front end cert, that ain't easy. Alright guys, as always, if you haven't already, join the Facebook group. What are you doing, man, if you're not already? I encourage you to take part, man, in the coding revolution, as we say. That is known as Code Tech and Caffeine on Facebook.
That is a t-shirt for you.
The coding revolution?
Yeah.
It just has like a Terminator in the background.
No, that's cheesy. Like, code it out.
Code it out. I think we hit over 2,400 today. We're pretty close. Let's see. I don't know what I want to do with this coding group. You're waiting until you're worthy? You're worthy, Kevin. You're welcome to join, man.
Kevin Joy hasn't joined?
I don't know. I need one more for 4K.
Get in there, Kevin.
Kevin, you'd be 2.4K if you joined right now. Just saying. It'd be a monumental occasion.
You'd be like that one just...
You know Van was my 500th subscriber?
Your what?
My 500th subscriber was Van.
Really?
Yeah, I distinctly remember, and I was like talking to him, and I said, hey man, I'm at like 499 subs, I'm growing, it's blah blah blah, I'm really excited. And then he's like, hey, I put you over to 500 right now. Van was my 500th subscriber.
Oh my god, I love Van. He's so funny.
Here you go, Kevin. I gotta figure out why Restream doesn't put my my auto settings in there. But alright guys, Milo says goodnight. I say goodnight. April says goodnight. Don't forget, if you want to support me and you want to support the channel, you can at patreon.com/codingtutorials360. This was day 28. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm losing a little bit of steam. I am.
There he is.
I'm not feeling too well. I'm a little bit stressed. All that stuff. You know, we're moving in a week. Am I getting on later for algorithms? I did algorithms in the beginning of this, James. It's actually almost 9 p.m. here for me, man. So,
it's fast. We start getting ready for bed at 8:30. I was doing some work before we got on, so it's a little late for us, especially because he's sick. Yeah.
So, if you catch me in a late night Coding God radio stream, which I had a lot of fun this last weekend if you guys weren't there, you'll probably catch me doing some algorithms late night this weekend. So,
yeah, Eric, I'm sure over time it'll get better, unless I'm just not worthy of the JS.
Baby, you're basking in the light of the coding god every day. You're gonna get there one way or the other. So.
One way or the other, I am determined to get there. So I'm hoping that I get at least something within a year.
Well, you're getting 100 days out of me, so. I didn't think it was going to be this hard, to be honest.
When you said 100 days, I was like, I bet you he doesn't know what 100 days is.
Don't be throwing words like wife around, bro. This is my baby's mom right here.
Oh my god.
The mother of my cats. All right. Hey, buddy. The girlfriend of 6 years. That's how I introduce April now.
And I introduce him as, this is Dylan. I may or may not want to be, no, I'm just kidding, associated with this guy.
Milo, the orange cat's name is Milo. Our black cat, who messed up his paw yesterday, or his claw, his name is Achilles.
Yeah.
And our tannish brown cat is Tito.
He's not tan. He's like a mixture of gray and like weird marble looking.
He's like a tan.
He's like a marbled cat.
He's a tan, black, and brown striped cat.
He looks marbled.
Come here, Tito. Tito. Come here, buddy.
Okay. Sorry.
Is Mama scared you?
I'm scared Tito.
What skills do you get from obtaining a front-end certificate? You'll be fairly decent at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. It's up for you to take your skills from there. I do a great video on my channel called "Was Free Code Camp Worth It?" and I break down what it does for you and what you can do with it. I encourage you to go watch that, Adrian. With that, guys, I will lead us out tonight. Code long and prosper. We'll see you tomorrow.
There's a comma in there. It's not. Oh. It's ruined.
What? You mean it's ruined?
It's code long and prosper. How do you like, code a pause?
You do it with set time in and set time out.
Okay, well, set time in, pause, set time out, 5 seconds with after code long and prosper.
You're a pain in the ass.